County. Welcome, and in particular, we want to thank people who just joined in January of 2025, new members. So thank you to all of you who are new to Indivisible. And I want to tell you on behalf of Indivisible Santa Cruz County that we really appreciate your checking in with us, your helping on committees, and tonight you're going to find some interesting information about the various committees. They put together some excellent groups, and you can hear about each one and decide which one you might want to participate with. So take your time, look at them, think about it. We know that a lot of you are experiencing a lot of anxiety, some anger, some feelings of confusion about what's going on, let alone the fact we're bombarded by emails and text messages and podcasts. So we need to give ourselves a little break and take time away from all the news at times. We need to work with people in our community and our neighbors, take care of ourselves and each other. And we need to think about what we can do to make a difference, and a major difference is needed, as we all know so well. How to be able to work towards what will be the next administration, and what can we do to not only change what's going on, but to make our democracy even more representative, more humane, and more following the law. And we worry a lot about the younger generation who might think it's okay to break the law, have felonies, not treat women the way they should, and still get elected to be the president. It's important for us to teach our young generation that's not going to be okay anymore, and that we all have to take a stand and work to better understand what directions to go in. And now, right now, we're going to hear about all the groups, and Santa Cruz Indivisible has done a wonderful job of putting together various committees, and you can look at each committee and see which one would match your interest and how you can make a contribution. And now I want to introduce, there are 4 incredibly talented and hardworking women who oversee this Indivisible, and one of them right now is going to be speaking with you, and this is Jenny Evans.
Welcome, welcome. Thank you for coming. My name is Jenny Evans. I'm one of the co-leaders of Indivisible Santa Cruz County. I want to also introduce the other 2. There are actually 3 of us, 2 co-leaders. They're actually co-founders. They're the ones who started this whole thing way back in 2017, and they're still here working hard. First down here on the computer working the slides, who created the slideshow, is Amanda Altice right there. And all of you who get the newsletters, well, you can thank Angela Marshall. She's in charge of social media and the newsletter, so that's how we get our information. So thank you so much. I also want to thank, there's a group of Indivisible people who have been working extremely hard for years, and they are what we call the steering committee, and they help plan this event, and they do fundraising and all kinds of things. So I'll just quickly name their first, but go by their first name, Barb and Karen. There are 3 Karens. We call them Karen number 1, Karen number 2, and Karen number 3. Kat, Anita, Kathy, Diane, Ken, Eileen, Marty, Mimi, Chris, and Marilyn. So if any of you are in the audience, stand up so we can give you a big hand for all the good work you do. Okay, all right. So I'm just going to tell you just a little bit about Indivisible Santa Cruz County. It's a grassroots organization that was created shortly after the 2016 election by, I just can't read my writing, by ex-congressional staffers and husband and wife team Leah Greenberg and Ezra Levin. There are thousands of chapters across the country that use the Indivisible tactics to affect policy change and apply pressure to our elected officials. ISCC, Indivisible Santa Cruz County, mainly focuses on our local, state, and federal elected officials in California. But we also work with a larger network of other California leaders to help shape policies here in California. In order to make getting involved more approachable, we have created an email list, which I know many of you are on, that will help you plug into actions you can take today. Most issues we follow are time sensitive, and we try our best to provide the most up-to-date info as possible. Okay, so all right, our agenda is as follows. Welcome, Diane Bridgman was the person who came up here and did our welcome. The agenda, what is Indivisible Santa Cruz County and what we do, that's what we're doing now. Upcoming events, which I'm going to talk about next. Issue teams, which are the teams that we have formed that you can join, and we do special actions in each one of those teams. Then we're going to have a de-escalation practice, little class, more or less, and a Know Your Rights role play, which is going to be kind of fun to watch. Then we'll, Jill Borba from the Conflict Resolution Center of Santa Cruz County will be here to speak to us briefly about what they do. And we'll talk about tangible actions that you can start doing today. And after that, you can all get up and you can go over to room 3 and to the hallway, and you can visit these tables where you can actually participate in these actions. Okay, so. Okay, upcoming events. All right, the first one is coming up tomorrow. I don't know how many people are going to be going to the one tomorrow, May Day. All right, a few of you are going to go. Well, it's going to be sponsored by the Monterey Bay Central Labor Council. And the May 1st event is part of a nationwide May Day protest focusing on the plight of working people under Trump policies. And the public is invited to join in the protest. It's going to take place between 5 and 6 o'clock on Thursday on the sidewalks lining Ocean Street near the Resource Center for Nonviolence. And then after that, at 6 p.m., if you would like to, you can go inside and they're having a program with local song leaders, including Eileen Vance, Colleen Douglas, and Russell Brutche. And they will lead the audience in songs of labor rights and resistance. And the mission is $10 to go inside, and that money will be donated to the Center for Farm Workers' Families. And the other May Day activities will happen. There's a rally in Watsonville at 4 o'clock, and then there's a strike line at UC Santa Cruz to protest University of California labor policies, and that's happening at 10 a.m. So there's plenty to do tomorrow if you want to participate. It is noon. Okay, sorry. They changed. It's at noon, 12 o'clock instead of 10 o'clock. All right. So today is Wednesday, and every Wednesday we have a protest at the town clock. And so you can come. Everybody is welcome to come down there. And the civil rights groups, one of our 10 issue teams, puts on holds a protest in front of Starbucks on Ocean and Water every Monday. And what we've been focusing on was HR 22, which is the Voting Rights Act, the SAVE Act, this horrible piece of legislation that passed the House and is now going to the Senate. So we've been protesting that as well as other things. Okay, and the next event is our next meeting, which is in July 12th, so mark your calendar. And there is a sign-up link on our website as well. Okay. All right. So issue teams. Issue teams, let me see. Here we go. So the issue teams we have right now are economy, education, civil rights, immigration, media and communication, we call it MAC, environmental, Indivisible, California State Strong, which goes by CAS, Health and Human Services, Foreign Relations, Social Security, and there's a brand new one called Restore Democracy that is being formed as we speak. And so if you are interested in any of these teams, I'm going to describe a little bit about what each team is doing. And if you want to, when you get up and look at some of the action tables, you can also go to the Indivisible table, which is right outside in the hallway. And there's some little cards. And if you're interested in joining a team, you can just simply write down your name and what team you are interested in. And then we will send those cards to the leaders of the team, and then they will contact you as to when their next meeting is and some of the actions that they're working on right now. So we formed these teams in January, and they consist of smaller groups of people who meet regularly with an agenda in order to create actions to address the team's goals. And these teams have been very active in reaching out to the public and electeds in pursuing their progressive goals. So I'm going to go over briefly some of the actions that these teams have come up with. First of all, okay, civil rights. They're not going to be in the order of there, but civil rights, that's the team that I'm currently on. And again, we have this weekly protest on Monday, 4:30 to 5:30, the corner of Ocean and Water. And we are doing also, the civil rights team is going to give you a really fun Know Your Rights role play tonight, so that when you are protesting or whatever, then you know that there are certain things, certain rights that you have. And so they're going to act that out for you. And then upcoming June 14th, which is Donald Trump's birthday, and also my birthday. So disappointing. I'm a year younger than he is, but we weren't born on the same day. But he's planning on having some sort of horrible military parade. So the civil rights team, in conjunction with ARRT, which is an artist group, are going to plan a die-in where we make tombstones that say Jenny died of the measles, or Shelley died because they did not have access to Medi-Cal. You know, we have all sorts of things. And then we'll lay on the ground with our tombstone, and then at some point we'll jump up and cry woke or something like that. But so we're coming up with something kind of fun. So we'll let you know more about that as time goes on. Okay, so that's the civil rights team. The media and communications team, MAC, they are involved in building a truth brigade, and they're also going to start bringing back our bridge brigades. I don't know if some of you saw, we were at one point, we were holding big signs over the bridges at La Fonda, and so they're going to start doing that along with ARRT. They're involved in getting the facts out and how to effectively use social media and how to locate good information and build social capital organizations and identify pro-democracy customized sources. So that is what they're working on right now. Economy, I have a special economy team. Following the impact of federal cuts to food banks and other social programs in the county, they're creating a data set of local food prices and consumer goods, as well as the impact of tariffs and administration cuts on select American companies and industries. And they're also seeking solutions to the ongoing rental scams found in online marketing. So those are two of the things they're working on. Education. In the education team, flyers regarding ramifications of potential Department of Education budget cuts and call to action. They're also printing flyers, and volunteers have been ready to distribute to Santa Cruz and Live Oak middle and elementary schools. And the team members will be attending Santa Cruz County School Board meetings and the members will listen, learn, and share their concerns over potential budget cuts. Okay. Environmental team, they're researching most likely supporting a suite of environmental protection legislation introduced by Jimmy Panetta. They're reviewing it to ask that they advance the legislation, assuming that we do support it. They also have been supporting the reappointment of Justin Cummins for Coastal Commission. They wrote a letter to Robert Rebus, Speaker of the California State Assembly, and they heard back from him, and they're monitoring the progress in that. They're researching the 2 California Assembly bills regarding battery storage, and they have a few more items that they're going to start working on, and they'll formulate their plan in the next meeting. Okay, Health and Human Services. They are working on problems about that due to cutbacks, because most of this is in the stroke center, because most of their stroke patients rely. This is the Cabrillo College Stroke Center, because most of their stroke patients rely on care providers to drive them to and pick them up from their stroke center rehab programs. And so they're afraid that that's going to be cut, and that'll leave these people without transportation. So they're trying to create volunteer programs for seniors who will lose their government funded supportive services. And they're also considering working with Santa Cruz DPH and Santa Cruz Community Clinics to run some pop-up immunization clinics. Okay, immigration, a very active group that are doing rapid response training with YAR, an Immigration Legal Response Center. They're calling their reps and senators by 5 calls, which we'll talk about later. Indivisible National and Indivisible Sacramento and Mobilize. They're printed and distributing the deportation rights red cards at taquerias and other places. And we have a whole bunch of cards out on the table in the hallway that you can take some and distribute them yourself. And they're also presented at the Santa Cruz City Council in support of Sanctuary City, and request that the City Council provide additional financial support for legal aid, social services, and emergency services for families who live here and ones that have been deported. Okay. Oh, sorry. I am not doing every single thing. Yeah. Sure. Oh, perfect. Yeah. All right. All right. Thank you. Yay. Good job. As you can see, these groups are super active, and it's a lot of fun to do this too. International Relations and Defense. They have attended the hearing of a UCSC student on Wednesday in Watsonville. She was one of the 100 students barred from campus for 2 weeks during the bombing protest last spring, and her phone was confiscated and not returned to her. So her lawyers are trying to squash this warrant that allowed the seizure and get her phone back. And they've also attended the hearing of another UCSC student on Thursday at the Santa Cruz courthouse. This student has been singled out for using a bullhorn in a free speech zone during the same protest. And they're also going to do a drop-by visit to Panetta's office to ask him to support HR 2411, the UNRWA Funding Emergency Restoration Act of 2025. All right, and then our sort of new team, the Social Security team, which formed when Amanda and I went to the North County Democratic Club to give a little talk about what we're doing, and they just formed their team right then because there was no Social Security team. So they now have something like 55 members, so quite a few. So they have said there are 73 million Social Security recipients in USA, enough to change an election outcome. They said Social Security is not in trouble. It's a good program and always has been. It's never missed a check. All stories to the contrary are political tricks to try to get us to agree to privatize it. primarily for private profit. Social Security is threatened, but not by finances or being poorly managed. Social Security will not go bankrupt. So the visibility of our resistance in the press is essential. They're trying to make good trouble, and they're acting as a group, but because individual action is not really that impactful. So they want to hold a sit down, used to be called a sit in, but bring your own chair, they said, BYOC. We're primarily seniors, better to sit than to march, right? Where should we sit? Maybe outside Jimmy Panetta's office, maybe somewhere in every major city or town in Santa Cruz County. We'll decide. We can dress up and be loud if we want. We can chant, we're not taking this sitting down. And we're going to make sure that the press is there. Okay. All right, then we have California State Strong. So Indivisible California State Strong is a coalition of grassroots indivisible groups across the state which aim to empower California constituents to make their voices heard in Sacramento. Our ultimate goal is to pass progressive policy in California and to lay the groundwork for change that can spread to other states and eventually to the whole country. And they meet by Zoom meetings. And Faye Johnson, who is a co-founder of Indivisible Santa Cruz County, has been amazingly active in this group, and she continues to this day. So if you are interested in joining that, you can fill out a card. And now we have our 11th issue team, and that is Restore Democracy. And this one is in the forming process. Kathleen O'Connell, who is here, is the one who is starting it. And this is what she wrote about what she sees this team doing. The Trump administration is on a law-breaking binge, defying court orders, illegally seizing legal residents and deporting them without due process, appropriating the power of the purse from Congress, illegally firing federal workers, engaging in spectacular graft and self-dealing, and there's so much more. Congress has so far declined to act on its constitutional mandate to constrain a rogue executive. So it is up to us. We are the people to figure out how we can defend our republic, and we have to do it now. There is an overlap between this mission and several other individual issue groups on particular issues on which we may collaborate, but our central mission will be the restoration of democratic process to our republic, and once we have done that, to make it more democratic than before. Okay. Okay, thank you. All right, so now I'm going to introduce to you one of our steering committee members, who's a longtime Indivisible activist, Karen Gallant, who is going to just give you some information about de-escalation practices.
Thank you. Hello. So I'm going to start the part of the program. We thought it would be a good idea in this meeting to talk a little bit about nonviolent practices, because we are a group that is wholly committed to nonviolence. And as Governor Pritzker said in his barnstorming talk, we need to fight everywhere and all at once, but we mean that nonviolently. We are going to be going to a lot of protests and a lot of rallies from here until we need to stop. And while we definitely do not want to inflame ourselves and get scared, we feel it would be responsible of us to be educated and well prepared, because we are living in a time of pretty hot emotions and intense issues, and we need to be prepared, and we need to learn how to stay calm and de-escalate anything. We've only had a couple of very small incidents in our Santa Cruz rallies and protests, and nothing serious has happened, and we hope and we expect that that will be the same, but we need to be prepared. So what we're going to do just in the next 10 minutes, this is not a training. I'm not training you. I'm introducing some of the basic protocols and ideas. And then we're also going to give you some chance to practice those in our role plays, but then also we're going to give you some resources where you, if you are interested in getting more information or a training, you can go and do that. I'm going to start with a quote from one of the people who was getting people aware of this is Representative Pramila Jayapal. She's started something called the Resistance Lab, and you can go online and find out about that and sign up for it. This is a good kind of mission statement, I think. She says, and you're following along, yeah. We aim to turn anger, fear, and frustration into action in the short term, while also preparing for a coordinated resistance movement for the longer term, and to build community across the country that can help grow our movement. At the end of the day, we want to get people strike ready and street ready, and make sure we protect our people, our freedoms, and our democracy. With Trump and his MAGA billionaires doubling down on their attacks on the economic livelihoods of people to thrive and on our democracy, we cannot afford to sit this moment out. This is about building real power together, and it starts with you. Go ahead. So Martin Luther King's Principles of Nonviolence, I read this and I thought, God, this is juicy. This is our foundation. And it's strong, it's good, and it's hard, but I think it's a good idea to dedicate ourselves to it. 1, nonviolence is a way of life for courageous people. Nonviolence seeks to win people over through friendship and understanding, redemption, and reconciliation. 3, nonviolence seeks to defeat injustice, not people. Nonviolence recognizes that evildoers are also victims. Defeat evil, not people. 4, nonviolent suffering can educate and reform without retaliation. Unearned suffering is transforming. That's deep. 5, nonviolence chooses love over hate. Nonviolence believes the universe is on the side of justice. The principles of de-escalation include the concepts of making beautiful trouble. We're not powerless. Here are 4 R's to think about in growing the opposition to injustice. 1, reveal, expose the injustice. Then 2, reframe, tell a different story and clarify the details. 3, redirect, mobilize support, avoid official channels. And 4, we will not be intimidated or remain silent. This was interesting too. Emotions of anger and hope combine to mobilize. Emotions of fear and resignation combine to demobilize and create lack of agency. And that's from Erica Chenoweth, a professor of public policy at the Harvard Kennedy School. I just thought that was good concepts to source us as we do our work. Okay, so how do we keep ourselves safe? How do we practice these principles as we go about our activism? So Move On has simple 4 steps. I looked at their program and it looked pretty interesting. And here there are 4 basic steps that you can kind of keep in your mind. So the first one is to kind of identify the agitator. Is it a heckler? Is it a counter protester? Those ones maybe just move away, ignore. If it's an instigator or a suspicious individual, that's a little bit different. It's good to know where your safety coordinators are, the people who are wearing the vests, who understand a little bit more about this. And then practice the guidelines that I'm about to explicate a little bit. And basic guideline throughout all this, whenever possible, ignore. Emotions run hot. We all have them right here and now. They're up there. Our job is to stay calm, to stay cool. So that's number 1, identify the agitators. Number 2, low and slow. So let's say you can't ignore it. You have to engage with this person. Keep your posture relaxed. Think about your body language, the volume and tone of your voice, your identity. If you have privilege, that's going to, that's a power thing. Be aware of that. Keep your stance open. Keep your hands visible. Keep your voice modulated, kind of like I'm doing. Give them distance. Don't get too close to them. And keep your hands visible. That's what they. Then the next step they call tame it. And basically, it's just letting the person vent a little bit, acknowledge their feelings. They may just need to vent, and just listening to them might help lower the temperature a little bit. Because what we want to do is want to get the emotion down so that they can have their thinking mind, their rational mind, so that we can help them move away. Say things like, we're here to exercise our First Amendment rights. If you would kindly move away, we can move forward, or something along those lines. And this is the goal is to regulate the emotions. This is not the time to educate them, not the time to try to tell them how wrong they are. This is not the time to do that. So that's the tame it section. And then, so final notes, validate, as hard as that may be, validate their feelings, be empathetic, then provide them with choices with which that they can comply, and know your limits. Like if it's feeling too much, know your limits and get somebody with a safety coordinator. We will always have safety coordinators at the ones that we organize, but when you're at any rally and protest, there are usually some people who are in charge who would be able to, you would call in. And it's recommended to have two people dealing with a instigator or a person who you're having trouble with. One person is doing the talking, and the other person is kind of just keeping an eye on the context. So that can be a helpful thing to remember. And the other thing they say is within 2 or 3 minutes, you'll know if what you're doing is working, and then you'll know to kind of call for help, find some support, see if it's not working. So the other angle about de-escalation that is mentioned in these trainings is, so that's what happens with other, if you run into people who are agitators. But also think about yourself, how to keep yourself safe. So bring water, make sure you have snacks and sunscreen, et cetera, et cetera. Keep your phone number, have any phone numbers. This seems a little extreme to me right now in Santa Cruz. I don't think we're going to get into these big crowd situations where your phone might be taken away from you, or you might need to call your lawyer, those things. So, but it is good to have numbers that you may need to call should something happen. Make sure your phone is password protected. Bathrooms may not be available. I don't know what they say that, where it depends. I'm not sure. Could work. Also recommends always go with a buddy. Don't go to protests alone is recommended. I think in Santa Cruz and our community, these can be adapted. I don't know whatever your comfort level is. Note where you park your bike, your car, and with your buddy, have a plan if you get separated. Now, again, I think in Santa Cruz that might not be as applicable as if you're in a big rally in San Francisco or Washington, D.C., but it's good to know to have a plan and always be aware of ways you can get out of the crowd, you can get back to your car, stay aware of your surroundings. Avoid direct engagement with hostile individuals. That is the number one first strategy to try. Avoid and ignore. And if you see something, report it to a safety monitor. They also recommend to know your legal rights. It is review the First, Second, Fourth, and Sixth Amendments, which I'm sure you all remember. We do have copies of the Constitution out in the hallway. This is good to know. It actually came up in our last protest. Your rights are strongest when you are on what's called traditional public forums, like streets, sidewalks, parks. If you're on private property, the property owners have the right to ask you to leave. That's not hostile. It's just they're protecting their property. So if you are asked to move off of private property, do so. That's just the way it is. And remember, counter processors, counter protesters, they have the right to free speech also. You also, when you're in a public space, you have the right to photograph anything in plain view. And this was interesting. You don't need a permit to march on sidewalks or in the streets as long as you aren't obstructing cars or pedestrians. And if you don't have a permit, police can ask you to move to the side, and that's not police intimidation. That's just that's the law. They can, if you don't have a permit and you're obstructing traffic, they can ask you to move for safety reasons. So that concludes this introduction to de-escalation. And now we're going to have a little participatory event to help you integrate some of these ideas. And I'm going to introduce Shasta from the Civies group, who will take over. So thank you.
Thanks, Karen. That was great. We're going to do a little role play exercise. We have 2 exercises, and despite the fact that it says that we're going to do civil rights, we're actually doing 2 other role plays. We're going to do a role play about getting ready to go to a protest, and a role play, a de-escalation role play. So, but I will say, if you want to know your rights, we are tabling at Bookshop twice a month, Friday, 5:30, with Know Your Rights handouts. So if anybody wants to be involved in that, we're doing it. So our role players, let's make sure, yeah. Our role players are going to be either protesters or hecklers. They'll enter, and then the slide will describe the scene. The next slide is advice for the protesters. They nominally won't be able to see it, and as the scene progresses, they're going to ask you for advice. So we're counting on you to read back the advice on the screen. See, there you are. So that is what's going to make it fun. I'm going to ask our volunteer role players for the first role play to come on down, Mike and Megan, and I'm going to go grab some props.
This is
Good. You can hear me, huh? Okay, good. Are you ready?
I will start it.
This is for
Okay.
live stream.
This is for what?
Live streaming.
So
So
what do I do? Pass it?
All right, we're just doing a little prepping up here.
Okay.
And can we go to the next screen? So Mike and Megan are getting ready to attend a demonstration. They're deciding what to bring and what to leave. You, the audience, will give them the advice that they need when asked.
I'll ask you. Okay. Yay.
Okay, and Mike's gonna start.
We'll start. Hey, Megan, what's up?
I'm good. I'm getting ready to go to the protest. What should I bring?
That's a good idea. That's it. That's a good question. Audience, tell me, what should she bring to our protest?
ID.
Excellent idea. Excellent idea. Bring your ID. You got ID? Yay. Okay, audience, what is the next thing she should bring? Bring your, okay. So you want to be bringing a map of the protest area and also have marked out your exit routes.
It looks like the slides in the script don't quite match.
Yeah, they don't. Okay. Yeah,
Indeed.
so be sure you got your map there. Great. Let's put that in there and you've marked out the exit routes, right? Cool. All right. So, and what else should she bring, ladies and gentlemen?
Don't forget your water.
Yeah, you want to stay hydrated. Yay. Bring some food, bring some water. Excellent.
Yeah, don't bring that plastic disposable water bottle. Get your own.
Yeah, you don't want those plastics in it. Yeah, keep those microplastics out. That's right. Okay, so you're doing great.
Emergency contact.
Well, before we get to that, what else? I don't see it up there to tell you the truth. So what are some other things you should bring? Do we have, okay, we can drop down to there, sure. So I was thinking about your daily medicines, because if you have medicines you take daily, you should bring at least 2 or 3 days worth in a prescription bottle. All right, that's nice. That's great. So what else, audience? Help me out here. What else should she bring? Great. So, yeah, all those things actually. So we've got written phone numbers, as was mentioned earlier, for your friends, and if you or a group has an attorney, bring that number as well. So it's good to keep your contacts close by bringing written phone numbers, like we just said. Anything else that Megan should be bringing, or all of us should be bringing?
Well, you can bring your cannabis now because it's legal.
Well, right, you don't want to do the illegal stuff, but you should bring cash, and it's wise to leave your bank and your credit cards at home.
Questions are at the tables later.
Okay, good. Great. What else should she bring, audience? Bring a buddy. That's right. Always go with a friend. And we're going together. And if you have any disabilities, you want to bring, if you have any disability accommodations, you want to bring a list of those accommodations. That way you can be safe in all ways. And
Bring your sunblock. Bring a hat.
bring your hat, bring protection. That's right.
Don't forget your sunglasses.
That's right. And you mentioned the phone. When you bring a phone, be sure to turn off your face and your fingerprint unlock. So you keep your privacy private. Say what?
Bring your mask.
Bring your mask if you need that. That's right. Is there any last tip? I heard a tip down here. Yeah, just don't. The good idea is not to bring anything illegal. All right. So Megan, I think, are you packed?
Ready?
You ready to go? Okay, you're all set. So I'll meet you there. Bye.
All right. Thanks, Megan. Thanks, Mike.
Have a second row.
That stuff over there.
Are we ready for this?
Hold this for me.
We're almost ready. So for our next role play, once everybody's stowed their stuff, we're going to have a de-escalation role play. And I just want to mention, so we'll have, Mike has graciously agreed to be our heckler.
I'm a badass.
And Julie and Megan are our protesters, and they're going to need advice on how to stay safe. They'll need, sorry about that, I had a little gravity incident. They'll need advice on how to stay safe and how to de-escalate the situation. And of course, you, the audience, will be giving them advice when asked. And I do want to mention one thing. in this scenario, we actually have our heckler is pretty aggressive. This is not common in Santa Cruz County, so please don't take this as representative of what you would encounter at a protest.
Okay.
Okay.
Hands off Social Security. Hands off our Social Security.
You guys are such idiots. Trump's won.
What should we do? Ignore him. I'm just gonna. Okay. Hands off Social Security. Hands.
You guys are a bunch of losers, man.
Just ignore him. Keep rolling.
Trump's in charge now. There's nothing you can do about it.
Okay, what should we do? Ignore him. Don't react. Keep protesting. Okay, I'm not gonna freak out. I'm just gonna stay calm. All right, let's just stay calm. Okay. Okay,
What's the matter? What a bunch of babies.
Okay, we feel unsafe. We really feel unsafe. We cross the street. Find a safety monitor. Okay, a safety monitor. You wanna go? Okay.
Someone should teach you all a lesson.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Okay. Hello? Yes. Okay, we're at the corner of Ocean and Water. We're here every Monday morning. And yes, officer, we're at the corner of Ocean and Water. Someone's threatening violence on it.
What you tell them first? I'm gonna start with a call 911.
What about starting to film? Start filming. Ask her at the table. Get out your phone. Right, sounds good. Then let's take our democracy dog and get a democracy taco.
All right, and so if you have any questions, you can come by the protest table or the Indivisible table, and we have some handouts too. So maybe we'll see you later.
Okay. So, all right, I now want to introduce to you Jill Borba, who's come here to talk to us about Conflict Resolution Center of Santa Cruz County. Where's Jill? Oh, there you are. There it's at. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks for having us. Hi, everyone. There's a lot of you guys. I'm Jill Borba. I'm here from Conflict Resolution Center of Santa Cruz County, and I'm just here to talk about the services that we have and how they might be able to help you guys in the work that you're doing and just in general. So we have a lot of programs in conflict resolution. I can't go into everything today, but I am going to try and cover as much as I can. We have trainings. We have a lot of trainings. Karen, what you said about de-escalation, you did a really wonderful job. I want to thank you. We have a de-escalation training if you guys want to learn more about that. We have conflict management skills trainings, and we do these trainings every couple of months. We've got a restorative justice 101 training coming up this month as of tomorrow. As well as conflict management skills in June. You can check out, we don't have a QR code, but you can check out our website, which is crcsantacruz.org for all of this information and all of our upcoming trainings. We also offer mediation services, and we offer a number of mediation services, but the community mediation services, these cover all kinds of conflict. in the community, whether it's your neighbor or your adult sibling who doesn't understand what you want to do with your mother and you guys can't agree, or co-parenting, or any number of things within the community. It gives you the opportunity to sit down with some neutral mediators and have these difficult conversations. We also offer workplace mediation. We also offer parent-teen mediation. We do housing mediation. If you know anyone who is struggling with the possibility of homelessness, we offer housing mediation to support you either in staying where you are or getting a soft landing in terms of leaving, all kinds of options. Let's see. So we do have a QR code, so you guys can check out our website. And then we also offer restorative justice programs. We do victim offender dialogues. This language is changing, but we offer the opportunity for people who have caused harm to sit down with people who they have harmed, to have restorative dialogues, which can be healing for everyone involved. We also offer court-ordered classes for people who are justice involved. So we've got a number of services. We're out there as much as we can in the community, resolving conflict. So check out our website, and if you have any questions, please reach out to us. We have a newsletter you can sign up for on our website. You can also always reach me, Jill at crcsantacruz.org, if you have any other questions. And thanks for showing up here. Thanks.
Okay, so we're at the end of our program. In a few minutes, we're going to ask you if you would like to go outside and look at the Indivisible tables that's in the hallway. We have some things you can pick up and take home. We have postcards, we have a postcard table, and we have our action tables. So our action tables set up, one's in the hallway, the postcard, petitions, and letters, and then the other tables are set up in room 3, the multi-use room. So you can go down the hall and check out those tables. I'm just going to give you a quick overview. We have a table about the 5 Calls app. I don't know how many people have ever used the 5 Calls app. Great. If you haven't used it, it's super easy. It's a very easy way to call your electeds. And they have scripts. It's just, they dial it for you. You just put in your zip code. At that table, you can get more information about that. We have ResistBot table. How many people have ever used ResistBot? All right, that's, and if you don't like calls, like some of us don't really enjoy calling, you can use ResistBot because you can text. You can text a letter, you can text your what you're concerned about to your electeds, and we have a table to tell you how to do that. It's a service that people in the United States can use to compose and send letters to elected officials, and you can do it probably in under 2 minutes, so it's quick. Amanda says she does it at the grocery store. So. Postcards to voters, that's my thing I'm doing. We work with Commit to Democracy, which is a Bay Area organization. They supply us postcards, names and addresses, and scripts, and then we distribute them here in Santa Cruz. You sign up on the Commit to Democracy website, which we have the link in our newsletter and also in our website. Once you sign up, then I will send you an email to tell you where and when you can pick up your postcards. You get postcards and they come 25 names to a page. So you can order as many as you want, have parties, whatever you want to do. We supply you with postcards. Last year we wrote in Santa Cruz over 52,000, or was it 30,000? Anyways, a lot. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, so many postcards. So we have a table, and we have a few free packets left. Well, they're free anyway, but we put some together for you to take home, and there are 25 postcards in each packet with names and addresses and instructions. Sorry. So additional tables we have are the merchandise table. If you see this wonderful T-shirt, that some of us are wearing. This is our Indivisible t-shirt that we're selling, and it's in room 3, $25. You can get a V-neck or a crew neck. It's a donation to Indivisible Santa Cruz County. And the people at the table will tell you how you do that if you want to buy one. And we also have, let's see, I think is that it? I think so. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, contacting electeds, yes. And that's through ResistBot and 5 calls and letters. You can write letters. I think that's it. And oh yeah, protest. We have an amazing, I knew there was one more, protest table in room 3. Kelly Menahan who is an amazing protester. She's sometimes found standing on the corner in front of the Buttery all by herself with her sign for an hour or 2. Yeah, I know, it's wonderful. So she can also be found on every Monday with our civil rights group protest. But she has a really great table with some information. She has lots of signs and some ideas for signs if you need any ideas for signs for the protests. So, okay, I think that's it. There was one more thing.
Yeah.
Sorry. Hi, my name is Meg. How many of you are aware of the executive order that Trump very quietly signed 2 days ago? Well, it is strengthening, and I kid you not, this is the language, strengthening and unleashing law enforcement. He is prepared to call in the National Guard, the military, if he has determined that a protest is problematic. He is eliminating redress of people with the police. All those fantastic law firms who buckled will be providing pro bono services to the police. His stated value is, oh, we love and respect the police. This is the man who pardoned folks from the January 6th insurrection. Read this thing, write to Newsom, write to the Board of Supervisors, write to the mayor and the council, write to the senators, write to your representatives. It is one of the most dangerous things that has been put out, and that will allow him at some point to declare martial law and have our armies and National Guard on the street for something like a protest. Thank you.
So keep that in mind when you go visit some of our action tables, because you can use those action techniques to write or call the electeds. So just for last announcement, we have to be out of here at 9 o'clock, and we have to clean up. So we'll be starting to clean up everything around 8:45. But you have until then to walk around and talk to us. We'll be at the tables, and yeah, I think that's it. Thank you so much for coming. Yeah, see you tomorrow. Oh, thank you for coming. Thank you. I'm so glad that you could.
I'm so glad I got to